What's that, Skip? Shauno's talking about Supercoach again. Let's go. G'day everybody, it's Shauno again, and I'm back with some more Supercoach content. Today we're going to be doing the stats you need to know before picking rucks. So before we get into it, make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much for your support. The last video was a really good one. It was my February update, my favourite team so far. So if you haven't already checked that one out, go and check it out. This video might make me actually change my team though. So definitely this was going to be a good one to watch. So subscribe. Lots of good videos coming out in the pre-season coming up. And if you like the video, please like and leave me a comment on who are your rucks. Who are you going to pick in this very, very interesting season when it comes to rucks? So what I did is I asked AI. I asked AI and I asked it to crunch the stats for me. The stats on what happened in the South Australian National Football League, in the SANFL, what happened there when they changed the rules to be the same as what the AFL rules are going to be this season. What type of impact did it have on rucks and ruck contests and stoppages in their league? And this is what AI told me. All right, so before we get into it, let's go through and see what the new rules are. So for the centre ball up contests, at a centre ball ups, competing rucks will now be unable to cross the centre line before engaging with their opposition rucks. So no wrestling, basically. Last disposal out of bounds, a free kick will be awarded when the ball crosses the boundary line from a disposal, kick or a handball between the 50-metre arcs. And ruck nominations. Umpires may restart play without a nominated ruck being present. If no nomination is made or the ruck is too far away, play will restart immediately. And there will be no more bounce ups. Will be no more. They'll all be throw ups from now on. They'll no longer be the bounce. They've gotten rid of the traditional bounce, which is a bit sad, but you know, they're trying to make the game quicker. So I don't know if I like it or if I don't like it. I'm a bit of a traditionalist. I like the bounce, but anyway, they've got rid of it. So if we have a quick, we take this over to here. So here, I've made this nice little document for you. Hope it's nice and easy for you to read. I blew it up as much as I could of what they came out and told me. And this is pretty much what it said. So the changes before and after for the South Australian National Football League. Before, so total stoppages went down negative 24.8%. So it went from 84.7 down to 63.7. I believe these are averages per game. The boundary throw-ins went down negative 36.9%. So that's 36.6 down to 23.1 per game. The ball ups went down negative 15.6%, so 48.1 down to 40.6 per game. And the ball in play time increased by 3 to 5 minutes, which is what the AFL is trying to do. But 3 to 5 minutes in a game that takes almost 3 hours or 2 hours of playing time doesn't sound like a lot to me to make all these huge changes. But that's what they've done, and we're going to have to live with it. And so we wanted to know how this would affect the rucks in Supercoach. So that's exactly what I asked it. How is this going to affect the current ruck situation in Supercoach? So it says with 10 to 20 fewer ruck contests per game, someone like Tristan Xerri, who's 51% owned, including myself, got 81.6% of his points came directly from stoppages. And Max Gawn, who already scores 41.2% of his points in transition, marks, kicks in play. So they're the two big boys. So I thought I'd give you an idea of how they get their points. So that scares me a little bit, considering I have Xerri in my team, that 81% of his scoring comes from stoppages, and potentially there's going to be negative 24, less 25% stoppages in all the games from now on. So if that was to say he would score 25% less points, I wouldn't pick him straight away. But let's see. I don't think it's going to be as simple as that. So also, it seems AI seems to think that the throw up of the ball and not the waiting for the rucks together will make it like athletic midfielders and potentially forwards will occasionally be taking ruck contests and maybe getting a free hit out might be an advantage to them. And the contested ball winners, like the mids of the world, like someone like a Rao, might also take a slight scoring hit, because the higher, it's saying that we should prioritise the higher meters gain players who thrive when the ball's in motion between the arcs. I guess more like a Finn Callahan type of player. So that was very interesting. I think a lot of people were already predicting that. That's probably not big news to you guys, but it gives you something to think about. It's not only is some great minds out there in the Supercoach world thinking it, but also AI seems to come to that conclusion as well. So the next thing I asked AI, I was like, okay, tell me, who do you think are going to be the top 6 rucks of 2026 and why? And here's what it came up with. So it said the number 1 ruck, in its opinion, is going to be Tim English, because he led all the rucks in uncontested possessions, 178, and marks, 141 in 2025. He's the least dependent on the umpire blowing the whistle to score. So Max Gawn is predicting as number 2. Scores heavily through intercept marks, 131 in total marks in 2025, intercept marks. As teams avoid the boundary, it thinks that he's got even more chance to get more marks down the line. Brodie Grundy, it actually had Rowan Marshall in this spot. And I took him out because I don't really think he's going to be relevant, just because if you look a little bit down the list, Tom de Koning is on this. And I think he is more likely to be the number 1 ruckman at St Kilda. I'm not sure about that. It just seems to be the way that it's looking from the sim matches. But I might be wrong. Anyway, when I took him out and asked him to do it again, it put in Brodie Grundy, who it said has averaged 20 disposals in 2025. And his second effort's a ground level ensure he finds the ball. Then also Luke Jackson, number 4. His elite ground ball gets 43.8% transition scoring, make him a beneficiary of faster, more continuous game. And we've all heard about him playing as a midfielder. And I'm pretty sure if I heard anything about Darcy not being in the team and him being the number 1 ruck, he would be one of my first pick. Just that whole Darcy and Luke Jackson together makes me a bit scared. But Darcy's another one of these big lumbering type rucks that people say the rules, they don't think it's going to help him very much. So that could be interesting to see how that plays out down at Fremantle. Number 5, Tom de Koning relies on the high leaping contested marks rather than the wrestle. High leaping and contested marks rather than the wrestle. New rules allow him to use his vertical leap without being blocked by the bruisers. And number 6, Darcy Cameron, who they're calling the link man, especially clean at the level, 128 marks in 2025. Collingwood's fast play style means he's often used as a marking target in transition. So that's who AI thinks are going to be the top 6. Xerri doesn't even get a look in, which I find hard to believe, but you know, it's going purely on stats. And I guess it's also said that Xerri could, you know, tweak his game a little bit, maybe to pick up some more, maybe, you know, try and be a bit mobile, get down there for an intercept mark or 2. But I thought the next question I would ask, I'd say, well, what about Tristan Xerri, sorry. I have him in my team. What effect would this have if these rules were in last season? What effect would have had on his scores from last season? So that's exactly what I asked AI, and this is what it came up with. It said this is a clinical breakdown of the Xerri Tax, 2020 in 2026, or for 2026. When the AFL shifts the game towards the South Australian National Football League and the AFLW rules, data trends, it noted earlier, Xerri's path to 125 plus average becomes incredibly narrow. So the good thing about this, it worked it out not just on an estimate overall, but it actually looked at the games. last year, and it looked at, is the game a heavy stoppage game? Is it a free-flowing game? And then it made its decision from then. So we look at round one, for example. He played GWS. He scored 122. Now, the adjusted score, according to AI, would have been 113, down 7%. There was a high stoppage volume game, so he loses 7%. Now, it's not the 25% that it was talking about earlier. And if we go down this list, it seems to range between 5% and 8%. 5% at the lowest and 8% at the highest. So he still manages to get some big scores, though. So, you know, this one where he would have got 150, he would have got 138. That would have been his, and this one here, 136, 125. We go down a little bit. Had this bit of a slump mid-season that we remember where he was a bit injured and not at his best. And then he came back with a vengeance at the end of the season where he had the 187, 186, where he still would have got 172 and 171 respectively. And so for me, that was very interesting to have a look at that. Now, I'll go up just slowly again so you guys can have a look and you can have a bit of a read about what it says on the side if you want to pause the screen. So, you know, a few of them, the lowest one, lower base, fewer easy hitouts. In this one for -5%, -8%, stoppage heavy, slog game impact. Did we got any that say like free flowing, higher mark count saves some value in this 84 game? What about these big games? -8%, massive outlier, relies on repeated contests to get this huge score of 187 and huge tackle and hit out count heavily adjusted to get the 186. Even though it's saying that, but at -8%, the score is not that bad. I mean, if you still got me 170, I'd still be pretty happy, wouldn't you guys? So I don't really know what to think about that. Then if you come down just below here, so Xerri is currently priced at 687,300 in Supercoach. That's 127. That's an average 127. If this rule adjustment holds, he should drop to about 118. Now, are you prepared to suck it up and take that drop at 687,300? Would you like to maybe take a risk on somebody else like Luke Jackson? I'm really interested to hear what you guys and girls out there in the community have to say about this. Now, for me, I'm going to be watching the practice matches. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the scoring there and seeing how much of a difference does that actually make. If we go slightly back up, let's go back up to its predicted. Let's keep this in mind for when the practice matches come out. Will these 6 guys be the top 6 ranked ruckman? Now, for me, I still think Xerri is probably going to score more than a Koning or a Darcy Cameron. But maybe I'm wrong. You never know. You know, that's why I looked it up with the AI, because I thought it was very interesting. Now, I'd really, really like to know what you guys think and who have you got in your rucks. So anyway, crew, I won't go on about it anymore. I just thought that was interesting, and I thought I'd bring it to everyone's attention. So I like my stats, so I thought that was quite interesting. So before we go, if you haven't already subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. Also, don't forget to like the video and leave me a comment down below. We still have some spaces in those leagues, so join my leagues. And don't forget, join the Discord. If you leave your team in the Post My Team here, I think we're going to do a live video this Thursday. And so come and check that video out. And if you put your team in my Discord, I will go ahead and go through your team live. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone. I hope everyone has a great day, and I will talk to you all again very soon. Take it away, Skip.